Welcome to Classic Game Room, broadcasting from the Intergalactic Space Arcade. Do you have a Nintendo 3DS and enjoy dungeon crawling, monster slaying action? Then I've got a quirky, fun RPG-style adventure game for you. This is Heroes of Ruin on the 3DS. It's a ruinous good time. That doesn't even make sense, but the game is fun. Best enjoyed with a stone ruination. Of course, that can be said for almost anything. It's Heroes of Ruin, a 3D dungeon crawler, hack-and-slash RPG-style adventure game that's one of the more ambitious releases on the Nintendo 3DS. From N-Space and Square Enix, this one has a lot in common with other hack-and-slash button mashers like Dungeon Siege and Sacred 2, where you accept challenges, complete missions, explore dungeons, and occasionally fight some end bosses. All the while leveling up, collecting loot, and basically having a good time. It's a fun game if you're into these. While it has a plot, I didn't find it terribly exciting, but the 3D effect is actually used quite well in this game. In fact, the developers went out of their way to ensure that Heroes of Ruin is a fun 3D experience with cool levels that have stuff that's always dropping off into the distance, or things coming down through the trees like rays of sunshine, or just sparkles hanging in the air. It's a visually pleasing game. It also has nice music and predictable controls. Heroes of Ruin also has a quirky sense of humor that may conjure up a few chuckles and giggles from players accepting the mission challenges. But annoyingly, the game is a 3DS exclusive. At least as of this recording, and that's a shame because it limits its audience. Heroes of Ruin is a good game that should be shared with everyone, whether you own a PSP, an iPad, or Vectrex. Seriously, the game should be a lot more places, because in the end, nobody cares about 3D. Even Nintendo admits it by now. Not to discredit the hard work from the designers, this is an excellent 3D release. Because it looks good and it plays well, I don't find that I'm tilting or moving the 3DS while playing Heroes of Ruin. It's a stationary, dungeon-crawling kind of game that looks good in 2D or 3D, but the 3D just gives it a great sense of depth. Like other games in this genre, there's a lot of things to do, a lot of missions, a lot of quests, a lot of side quests. And you can play with up to 3 other people online. I tried that out, and it works. But it seems like a solitary kind of game, the kind of game that you play for an hour or two every night just to relax. You collect armor, you collect weapons, you slaughter creatures by the billions, and there's daily web challenges as well. Here's a look at one of the cutscenes moving the story along. There's 4 character classes that you can choose from. I chose Gunslinger because, well, why wouldn't I? I like to shoot things from a distance. In addition to some predictable and fun hack-and-slash grinding, you'll also face numerous end bosses, some of which are extremely challenging. And there's even a few puzzles to test your brain. I personally enjoy playing these games to unwind and kill some time exploring dungeons and mangling creatures without mercy. It's a nice game for those on the go because you can play on the airplane for 8 hours, although your 3DS battery sure as hell won't last that long, so you'll need 2 or 3 of them. Frankly, I think the game needs some more exposure, and I know this is not a popular thing to say, but it should be on the iPad. Heroes of Ruin is a nice game that seems to have a lot of effort and love put into it. The dialogue is genuinely funny, some of the end boss fights are really cool, and you know this kind of game takes a long time to make. It's also fun that you can play it with friends online, or locally using multiple 3DSs. With any luck, Square Enix listens to this and says, you know, Classic Game Room is right. Again. As always. Let's publish this game everywhere so that everyone can enjoy some Heroes of Ruin. I mean, seriously, why do you hate Sega Master System owners? They'd love Heroes of Ruin too.